Awesome. Awesome. One minute. Awesome. Awesome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for joining us today for our monthly empowerment seminar. And for this month, our theme is becoming a better communicator. And just to give you a little bit about who we are, right? So we are Powerhouse Hour, and our mission is twofold. So the first fold is that we're here to introduce men and women across the globe to Jesus Christ by sharing his good news of salvation. And our second goal is to empower men and women through studying the scriptures, Christian books, and sharing amongst ourselves so that we may discover our true identity in Jesus, be filled with the love of Christ, the fullness of God, and be equipped in our God given gifts to fulfill our destiny and our life purposes. And this is the second fold that we are covering today through this empowerment seminar. And communication is quite important. Whether you work, whether you're a student, just the fact that you are a living being, you are on earth, you have to communicate. You cannot bypass it. Even those who don't have the ability to speak, they have a language in which they communicate. Even those who can hear, they have a language. So communication is important. That's the way we express our needs. That's the way we express our expectation. And without communication, there's no society, right? It is so important that in university you can major in communication. That can be the focus of your studies. And if you work in the corporate world, you have a whole department called communication, and that's all they do. They write messages to the employees, to the shareholders, to the public. That's their job. And so we think that there's room for all of us to improve. I'm sure we have some basics, but we can do better. We can be better communicator. And this is the focus for today. So we just pray that you will have an open mind, and take one or two things that you can apply in your communication style, that you can be a better communicator. So thank you. We can start now. Sis, are you able to share a slide? Awesome. Can you go to
What
the
slides you want me to go to?
go to the next one?
Okay. Nope. Yes, I don't know what's happening today.
It's okay. If you can
What's
go to slide number 3.
number
With,
3?
yes, this picture. Thank you, sis. Yeah, so as you can see in this picture, we have two people who are trying to communicate. And you can see the question mark on their heads, meaning that The lady doesn't understand what the man is saying, and the
So
man
funny.
doesn't understand what the lady is saying. But it looks like they're having a conversation. But in the middle, we can see how it is all fuzzy, right? So there's a breakdown in the communication. And really, a portion of what we're going to look at today is how can we avoid those breakdowns? How can we leave a conversation with the feeling that I understood the other person and the other person understood me? Because that is real communication, that you leave with a message that is clear, that you can use that information to do something else, right? So we want to avoid this picture. Since you can go to the next slide, please. And so, our key objectives for today: first, we want to understand the core principles of effective communications. There are some principles that, if we are able to implement those in our communication style, then it will be easier to get to be understood by the other, and also that person, what they're telling us, we are in a better position to understand them. Second, we want to recognize how communication affects direction in our lives, alignments, and commitments. And this is not only limited to groups that we are part of, even in our family, with our mom and dads and siblings. If we don't recognize how communication affects these three elements, then we're not able to properly communicate. And third, identify and overcome common barriers to communication. And fourth, have tools for listening, for clarity, and for influence. You can go to the next slide. So, what is communication, right? To make it simple, communication is the process of exchanging information, ideas, thoughts, feelings between two or more people or between entities through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. So for us today, the common way that we communicate is through the alphabet, right? Through writing A, B, C, D to Z. So that's a system of symbols that we use. But in the ages before the year 1500, they didn't have symbols, they didn't have the alphabets. So at that time, they used other ways to communicate. So, why does it matter? Good communication ensures that we have clarity, we avoid misunderstanding, right? And we build relationships, whether it's in our personal life, our business, our career, our social interactions. Because for example, in the corporate world, when expectations are not properly communicated, then at the end of the day, the company loses time, but loses money as well, because things were not communicated to the right people at the right time in the right way. So there's a cost to misunderstanding. In our personal life, we're not able to quantify that, but in the business world, oh no, they do quantify misunderstanding. And this is why they have a whole department that only works on communicating mission of the company, communicating the vision, communicating process and procedures. It's so, so key for the success of a company, but also in our personal life, for our personal success, right? Awesome. We can go to the next slide. And Sis, over to you. Oh, yeah. So I can start with
Where,
for the icebreaker.
what? Okay, that's slide 6. Okay. Yeah,
So,
can you take this one, please?
yeah. So personally, for me, my style, it's more verbal, written, communication, memos, emails, reports, minutes, and mostly assertive. I'm not 100% assertive, but I try to be. But we'll talk more about that later. My pet peeve in communication is not getting a feedback when I communicate a message to someone. So you send a message, an email, a text, and you don't hear back. So you don't know if your message was understood. You don't know if that person has follow up questions. You don't know if that person is upset by the message you just sent. So you're kind of left in the blue, right? So that's a pet peeve. And one miscommunication story that I can share with us. So I've joined PHH for the past 5 years, and there's a close relative to me, and I've explained what I do, what we do, right? The vision and the mission of this group. But every time that we talk, she always referred to PHH as a prayer group. And many, many times I've corrected her nicely, right? Not in anger or aggressiveness, but calmly and say, no, this is not a prayer group. This is an evangelistic group.
Yeah.
Our mission is to reach out to souls and give them the good news of Jesus and invite them to receive Christ. This is the goal. It's not a prayer group. We are not prayer contractors. We are here to win souls for Jesus. But because this person had barriers, right, in her mind, and we'll talk about the barriers of communication. She comes from a religion where evangelism is not something that they do, because in her religion, they believe that you are born Christian. If your mom and dad is in that religion, then automatically you go into heaven. You are Christian. So in her mind, she doesn't understand what I'm doing here. Like, no, you're just born Christian, but that's a lie that she has believed and that she's not able to go past that. And
Mm.
plus, she's francophone, so French is her language. She's not bilingual like me. So she's not able to watch our broadcast and understand, right? Because she only speaks French. So that's a barrier to communication. So that's my miscommunication story. And not to take a lot of time, is anyone wants to tell us first what is your communication style? What is your pet peeve when it comes to communication? And give us a short miscommunication story about you. The floor is open.
I- I'm gonna go. I think myself and you we're kind of alike, and I
Yes.
think that's due to the kind of work that we do.
Mm,
Being a policy person, accountant, paying attention to details and all of those things. So I would say memo to email, writing reports, minutes. Um, so I'm very verbal. And the people will even say, like, yeah, but you talk, it's I don't think I exhibit like non-verbal communication
mm,
because I speak in a way I speak my mind out. I speak it as I feel it. Sometimes
yes.
it's not the best, right? Because sometimes you speak without even before you process but yeah, I'm very verbal. Like what you just said about the pet peeve.
Yeah.
This week I sent pictures to like a testimonial, joyful picture to few of my people. you know
Yes.
just I was so excited, I was so happy. I didn't even think, that's the truth, I didn't think that maybe I was overdoing it.
Oh,
It's not everybody that embrace, I don't know, your joyfulness like that. I was just happy and I sent out. And like you were saying, somebody had, everybody was, I received mostly back, like, oh, good job. Well, you know what I mean? And but
yes.
too, I didn't receive anything. So I was a little bit worried, like, oh my gosh, did I offend them? Um,
Yeah.
was I celebrating too much? Seriously, that was what was going through my head. Like maybe I celebrated too much. Maybe are they thinking I'm
You
how do
show
I
me.
showing off? That's the word. Honestly, these are the things that were, so I didn't know what was to expect. And I honestly, seriously, I deleted the pictures from
Ah,
like few. I had to because like me, I'm like, I put other people in my situation like, oh, could they be upset?
yes.
Could they be, I don't even want to use the negative words that were going through my mind. And miscommunication, I'm going to use PHH as well. This that a few of my friends, few of my sister here, they think we are, when they're talking about us, like they're talking about, oh, that's your fellowship that sings a lot, that that pray that pray a lot. They use, oh, you guys, I watch you. You sing a lot. You pray a lot, and then you have to try to renew. The situation and renew the mind that no, we are an evangelical,
Exactly.
group calling men and women
To
um
Christ.
to Christ. But that's what communication is about. You have to keep communicating.
Mm,
Like children, remember when we have children, they're growing up, you can't tell them one time, two times. Sometimes you have to tell them 100 times and they're
yes.
still not getting it right. So that way, that's what communication is about. And we just keep talking and keep sharing and keep passing over. And you'll be praying that one day they will get it.
Amen. Thank you, sis. Anyone else would like to share with us?
Okay, for me, I mean, there are many methods to communicate, So I try and use many of them. I mean, for example, I'll just give an example of today. Like I was, trying to communicate with my daughter. So this morning I sent a text message. When I didn't hear back, I actually I think I called, but no answer. So I sent a text message this morning, and that was around about after 10 or something. And then around about 12 o'clock, or past 12, when I didn't hear anything, I tried another method of communication, which is to send a text. And when I didn't hear back again, I now looked at another communication method, which is WhatsApp. And then on WhatsApp, I saw that she had already I saw that she had already looked on WhatsApp, and I saw the time she looked. So I now sent a message on WhatsApp, and still I had no response. So I now waited for like another 15, 20 minutes, and then I actually called on WhatsApp. And then eventually I had, can I call you back? Okay. So I said, we're getting there, So yeah, it is just like you have said. I mean, not getting a feedback, when I communicate a message to someone. Yes, it's so when she now called back, oh, she said, you have to know that I'm busy. I said, well, as a mother, let me tell you the truth. That I mean, if I don't hear from you in so many hours, as a mother, I get, oh, you don't need to get concerned. You don't need to get worried. I said, but as a mother, I'll be concerned. I'll be will say, oh yes, I know, I know. So I've tried to communicate that to her so that next time she knows that, oh, if she doesn't hear from me, she would say, I would be thinking otherwise, so and miscommunication story. I've learned, and there's my husband. There's something my husband always say to me as well, that when somebody is telling you something, when they're bringing an issue to you, make sure that you hear both sides before you make any decision or you make any contributions. And the reason behind that, and this is where I am always careful, is interpretation, the way the message is interpreted, you know. So, and that I've learned that you just have to use different methods of communication in order to get that message across, so that the right message is what that person is receiving. And the way I also do it is that when you tell me something, I check with you to confirm that is this a message that you are trying to pass across to me by telling you what I understand by what you have said. And then you can say, actually, no, that's not what I mean. And then we can, have a better flow of communication. Otherwise, there is no communication because you're speaking, but I don't understand what you're saying. So, yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, sis. And you brought up a lot of points that we're going to look at later, like listening skills. It's a big part of communication because somebody may be telling you something with a few words, but under those words, there's a message that they're trying to communicate. And you have to have that skills to read between the lines because people don't say everything with words, but they will try to give you hints of where they're going, and it takes emotional intelligence to pick up quickly what is the real message here. And when you don't have that skills to pick it out quickly, you can get wounded in the corporate world, in family, in all sorts of groups. So it's a skill that we have to develop to read between the line because not everybody is verbal. Not everybody use words to communicate. Some people they will just frown their face and they've sent you a message. it's up for you. It's up to you to decode that.
You become a mind reader.
Exactly. Like when we're kids and we did something wrong at home, you just look at the face of your mother and you know your next steps. Like she doesn't have to talk. She no. You know what you did that was wrong and you know how to fix it, right? So that's part of communication as well. And going back to your daughter that you're trying to reach out and she's not responding, the better way for her is just to respond the first time by text and says, Mom, I'm busy. Give me an hour. I'll call you back. And to you, that gives you rest for an hour, saying that, okay, she has heard, like I've communicated that I want to see how she's doing. She's doing fine, but she's busy. She's going to get back to me later. That's communications. That's the right way to do it, right? Awesome. I think we can go to the next slide now.
Mm.
So, communication as a mean to achieve an objective. When there's no objective, then there's no need to communicate. We communicate because we have a goal that we want to achieve. It's like a brand new baby. When they're crying, usually it means a few things. They are hungry, They want their diapers to be changed or they are sleepy, right? So as a mother, you have to decode that cry and understand what is the objective. What does this baby want me to do for him or her? So communication is key in all types of relationships and help us to answer three questions. First, does everyone understand the shared purpose, right? In a group, like our group, for example, what is the direction of PHH? So, our communication, our monthly meetings, our broadcast, everything that we do when we come together, it should communicate a direction, right? And
Yes.
two, are we working together towards a goal? Are we aligned? And this is why, for example, for our Sunday's broadcast, we have one of our sisters that checks on the entire hour and she will give her feedback. Oh, usually in this section of the hour, this is what you're supposed to be doing, but you did something different, or you went over your time, or you covered something that another sister was supposed to be doing, right? So are we working together towards the goal? Communication answers that question. And the third question that communication answers is everyone motivated to stay engaged? Is everyone committed? Right? And this is why when we meet every month, we always go back the vision and the mission of this fellowship. So it's a reminder, like my sister said, we have to keep repeating ourselves. So just to check on ourselves, like, am I understanding what I'm doing here? Am I still committed? And there can be a moment that you are committed, and then a season comes where you're not as much committed because of XYZ. But through communication, you can share that. You can say, I am overwhelmed because of ABC. I'm no longer able to do XYZ. That's part of communication because if you don't share that, if you don't communicate it, then in our heads we have to make assumption because we're not hearing anything from you. And we can make the mistake with assumption is that we can make the wrong assumption. And that's not good, right? So if communication doesn't answer this question, then we are making noise, we're not communicating. Awesome.
Very true.
Sis, you can take this next slide, please.
Okay, we've come to our discussion question. Let's look at the time, Sir Natalie, so we don't
Yeah,
go
I'm
over.
checking.
So please, yeah, we're gonna do it quickly. So we want to share an experience when communication with a person or a group felt like noise, and what did you do in order to put the conversation back to the main objective? And I'm gonna think like when it feels like noise, like sometimes when we are deviating from the topic, from the goals, like we get so excited and we bring in different stuff. So how do you now put it back to the main? How do we put it back to the main objective? Let's discuss about that. You want to start us on, Sister Natalie, so that people can have an idea
Yes.
what, yeah.
So, an experience where communication felt like noise. So, I can recall a time that we were, like with my family, we're talking about my brother. So, I have a brother that's going through a lot of challenges, right? So the discussion was about what to do, right? Because we're thinking he needs to be in a clinic or hospital or an environment where he will have the best care that he can really overcome his challenges. He has mental issues. And so we're having a call with my dad, my mom, and my sister. And then at some point, my mom just became very, very emotional. Like, no, he has to stay in the house. How am I able to make sure that he's taking his medication? If we move him to another place, then me too, I have to move and be there. And so it was becoming more about, oh, you're trying to separate me from my child. And we say, no, this is not the objective of this call. The objective is to find the best environment for him to be able to manage his sickness and just to be more, to be happier, to be independent. So when we bring, in a group, you have different people with different, I guess, agendas and different emotions,
Yeah.
then it clashes because my mom is talking from the standpoint of a mother.
Yes.
And me, I'm talking from a standpoint of a sister, right? So it's not the same vision, it's not the same. And this is where communication is tougher. And
Yes.
you have to find a way to be better aligned. We talk about alignment. So,
Yes.
how do we have a better alignment when there are different agendas,
Yeah.
different, different, how can I say, different parties in the
Yeah.
same situation, right? So a lot of discussion around my brother feels like noise because yeah, there's different way of looking at things. So
Um
yeah, I'll let you speak, sis.
you're correct. Like it's like it's like to me, it's like when what somebody is saying,
Hmm.
because it's like not meaningful
Hmm.
to me. So we're in a topic that is like meaningful, but the conversation does not carry that weight
Hmm.
of
Yes.
importance. Like we are talking something important here, and it's like so it may be like maybe somebody is just trying to make it like a light issue when
Yes.
it's supposed to be taken seriously.
Parchment paper like this. For square or rectangular containers, simply make this 2 cups. For round
Mr. Nana, please, can you mute your
triangle and
line? Thank you. Um, and sometimes it could be like an overloaded conversation, a lot of pauses, or
Mm.
that somebody continues, like just continue talking without pausing. Like you said, we're going to talk about listening skills. So it's just
Yes.
like you continue talking, and some of us do that. Like extroverts, we just go on and on and on and on and on without without putting a pause in. And it could be another thing. Could be distractions around the rooms.
Yes.
It could be a lot of distractions that is going on around the room. It could be it's so many things. I cannot even put a hand on
Mm.
it, but the main part of it is lack of clarity.
Yes.
I think that's, to me, that's the main part. There's lack of clarity to what the objectives is. So and that could be it's a communication issue too, because if I'm talking to you and I cannot clarify or you cannot understand what I'm saying, so that
Yes.
makes it make like being noisy, like, okay, what are we doing here? What are we talking
Mhm.
about here? And sometimes you hear from people, like you said, some people are not verbal, they're emotional beings.
Yes.
So you can read that emotions on them.
Mm.
So it's just a lot. This topic by itself, I think this one by itself it should be a topic on its own. When communication becomes noisy,
This
I'm
is-
telling you, it's a lot. It could be like somebody have a mismatch expectations. Like, I was
Yes.
everything is just boiled down to there's no clarity, there's no oneness of objectives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just could be a lot of things that could be happening.
And if I can add something to the distraction part,
Mm,
since COVID-19, in the corporate world, a lot of company went to hybrid modes, right? Where you can work 2 days in the office, 3 days at home.
yeah.
And they now have a lot of policies about online meetings, right?
Yes.
You have to have your camera on. In my new job, you have
Mm,
to have your camera on. You have to be in a place where you are concentrated.
yeah.
Like they don't want to hear your kids running around or
Mm,
the phone ringing and all of that, because they've understood that with distraction, then half of the message will just be in the air, like people don't listen. And so when we start a meeting, the leader will always say, please have your camera on and your mic on, because they want to be sure that your attention is here.
yeah.
And because when you listen better, you are able to ask the right questions. And so they don't have to redo the same meetings two, three,
Yes.
4 times, because there's a financial cost to that, right?
That's true.
So yeah, distraction is a big issue.
It is a big issue. And then lastly, it could be, sometimes you're not connected with the person, or they're dismissive of what you are, like dismissive of what you are saying. So
Mhm.
dismissive in meaning it could be noise to them,
Mm,
and it's noise to you too, because, like, I mean, you're not concentrating, we're not gelling. I mean, there's so much um that makes people to, that makes conversation to be noisy, like miscommunication. So when people show that they're not interested, you know
yes.
yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? Okay. We can move to the next slide, please.
Okay, is that the happy face?
Yes, guess the emotion, right? We talked a little bit about this, that usually when people are not giving you a feedback or saying anything, if you are
Yes.
able to see the faces, you can read that feedback, right? Whether they're happy, they're angry, there's something that is not clear to them, but they're not expressing it. So you are left with a face that you have to try to read.
Mm,
And the problem with guessing is that you can make mistake, right?
yes.
That's why guessing is not the best way to do anything. Right? You want the person to verbalize to you how they're
Yeah.
feeling. Uh,
Yeah.
if they agree with you, they disagree, they're thinking about a better way to go about things. But if the person is just giving you a face, there's not much you can do. You can guess, but you can guess the wrong way. And this is not the right way to communicate. Even though today we do that a lot, even you send a message to somebody, a text, and they'll reply with a smiley face,
Emoji.
an emoji, and you're like, okay, this is all you have to say about this. Like, that's all the contribution you can make. So,
It's a form of it's a form of communication.
yeah,
You have different ones. I'm a emoji person. You know that there's nothing I write that I don't have an emoji on. And you will be able to tell my emoji if that thank you, is ever a smiley face, I'm happy, or
yeah,
but you're right though, because it could be miss read on the other side,
yes,
right? So nowadays we're getting really impatient and shorting on our communication.
yes,
And I want to go back to like with Sister Larry, where when she said I don't,
mhm,
deal with one. Like I get that with my children too, and all I say is that even if it's I'm not, this is me, even if it's an emoji
emoji,
to say thank
mhm,
to me, I'm receiving from you. I
yes,
know all is well. Because
yeah,
these days, I don't know, our children, they don't have the patience to be typing. They don't, they stop talking. Now texting, they stop texting. So I'm like, what do we do now? Most of them are they're emo, this is what they use.
mm,
Instead of saying to say thank you, they will I'll go like that. So me too, you have to catch up with them too in a way, so that you
mhm,
can be able to communicate with them.
yes,
Because
yes,
if you don't catch up with them, honestly, they leave you behind. You can't communicate with your children. You have to catch up. So, it's like the best, like I learned, what is the way that they communicate? I see them changing to text. So me too now. I don't call, I text, because
okay,
I call you, you don't pick up, but then you say, "What's up, mom?" You're dead. It's just like you don't want to talk. You know what I mean? So next time, if they call too and I'm busy, I'm doing that, I say, "What's up?" You know what I mean? Like then I was
mhm,
like, you just have to. So this may be like it may not be the best communicative way, but
mhm,
to the children that are coming behind us, believe me, we're gonna catch up. We have to catch up
that's
with this. We're gonna catch up.
exactly. And you brought up a very good point that you have to adapt to the other person in the way that is
The
best for
way,
them to communicate.
yes,
It's
yes.
like on my job, there are some clients, you send them meeting requests, they don't even answer you. Like for them, you are taking a lot of my time. But
Hmm.
when you pick up the phone randomly and you call them, you say, Mr. So and so, I had a question. They say, oh, yeah, let's talk about it. So for them, a meeting request is too formal. They
Yeah,
prefer an informal way of communicating. So
true.
that now that I know that about this person, then I adapt to them. And for other people, send me a meeting request and invite all of my managers on the meeting because I want to be backed up in what I'm going to say to you. You are the auditor. So then you adapt to them as well. So, like you said, yeah, if the younger ones they prefer emojis, then that's the way to do it. But there are some conversations, maybe more serious one, that an
Yeah.
emoji is not doing the work, right?
Mm-mm.
That you need the person to verbalize to
Yes,
contribute in a
yes.
in a different way. Yeah.
Yes. I just received something from work and I'm gonna say it. She said your favorite emoji is not Natalie, you didn't put my favorite emoji there. That is the one that goes like what? Like,
What?
excuse me? That's my favorite one. I'm serious. She said your favorite emoji is not there. So every time I'm like,
What am I gonna do with that? Yeah.
exactly. What you excuse me? What is it? What do you want me to do? What are you doing?
Exactly. No, there are a
So
lot of more
funny.
emojis than this. A lot
Yes,
more.
yes, yes, yes. Hmm.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, let's go to the next
The
one.
next slide, please.
Okay.
Yes, so the types of communications, right? So we have the verbal communication, whether it's spoken like we're doing right now, we are using words to communicate with each other, or written words, right? Writing an email, texting, yeah, those are verbal. The nonverbal, it's our body language, our postures, our gestures. Are we smiling? Are we not smiling? Our facial expression, and also the tone of the voice. When you are happy, your tone is higher. And when you are not so happy, it's deeper, like, very low. So we can decode the message you're trying to convey.
Mm,
And visuals, right? In the business world, it's a lot of graphs and charts and tables and
mm-hmm,
images, because those speak a lot more than having two, three paragraphs of words. And like Sister Yabo said, even in the business world, people don't have a lot of time to read. So
mm-mm,
in our meetings, in our PowerPoint presentations, we are encouraged to have a lot of graphs with numbers, charts, images, because those people can grasp the message quicker. So, discussion time. Could you share a time when you communicated non-verbally your thoughts during a discussion? Why did you choose non-verbal communication? And did the receiver understand your thoughts? In what circumstances nonverbal communication is appropriate or inappropriate? The
mm.
floor is open.
It's a loaded one. Very loaded.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do well with this one because I verbalize. I'm very verbal. I speak it. I speak it up. Even at work, that's one thing my boss says he likes about me. No, not everybody likes it, but
Mm,
if I'm blessed to have a boss that that likes me to speak up. And when I'm
yes,
not speaking, it's like something is not right. You
exactly.
know, some people that knows you, they know like something is not right when you're not speaking. Because so I don't think I would do well with this one.
I tend to when my answer would not go down well. So I choose to keep quiet, but inside me, I'm annoyed. And I know that if I speak, it's not going to be good. So I just zip it.
Mm,
Mm,
Yeah, I just zip it and yeah, and then when maybe over some days when I now can put my thoughts together and
mhm.
now can now actually address the issue, then I can now verbally communicate. But did the receiver understand my thoughts? I'm not sure. But I just yeah.
because you didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm annoyed. Yeah.
And it's a form of communication.
It
It's just
is.
not the best
It
form of
is.
communication. It's a form, but it's not just the best, like because the person receiving on the other end cannot understand. And
Yeah.
that's why I do a lot of saying. I'm not a mind reader.
Mm,
I don't want to read. And I actually choose not to read anybody's mind. You know what I mean? Because that brings me to be taking on that person's emotion or
yes.
that person's worry. So you have a worry that you're not verbalizing, and then I have to worry about you not verbalizing. That becomes my stress, and I don't
Mhm.
like stress. So I rather not deal with a non-verbal person, honestly, because it becomes worry for me, becomes an issue
Mm,
for me. And I believe God has given each and every one our thoughts. Yes, Salari said it. We have to process our thoughts before, especially in danger, in a situation where it's emotional, where it can become a
yes.
a trouble, an issue. then you have to think. But honestly speaking, I'll still verbalize it. And when I know it's not going to be the perfect talk or perfect, verbalization, I will apologize before I even start. I do that. Yeah, I apologize before. I like, like for example, I work, I'll be like, I'm not sure. I'm
Mm.
thinking. So
Mm.
at that point, you already know
Yes.
that what she's saying may not come out the right way, right? So
Mm.
mostly I work professionally. I prepare people for it. I am not, even in my emails, I am not sure. I'm thinking I may be
Mm.
wrong, because you have to give allowance.
Mm.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? We have to give allowance so that it's not, especially in us as Africans.
Mm.
Our tone, like you said, when you're happy, when I'm excited, as my
Mm.
my pitch is high.
Yes.
Yeah. Me too.
When I'm emotional, my
Yes.
pitch is high. It's just the way that, when I'm happy. But then when I'm emotional too, and
Mm.
without even knowing it, it's not something I planned, but the emotion comes through you and your pitch becomes high. And
Mm.
most of the time they see us as aggressive. That's what they
Yeah.
use. Like, it's not that they
Mm.
mean it like that, but that's how it comes out to them.
Across,
And
yes.
of course, and we don't get it, right?
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
why you were saying that we have to learn how the other person is, and
Yes.
kind of imitate, kind of at least to have peace,
Adjust to them. Yes.
adjust to them. Like I was telling Woke like but 2 weeks ago, I said, right now at 60, right? All I want is peace for
Mm.
me and around me. So
Yes.
if meaning I have to adjust to that person, and adjustment could be distance as well. You see
Mm.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
adjustment could be distance, so that you're so that my projection will not be seen wrongly or perceived wrongly.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, we do have there are times where nonverbal speaks to the other person. I have an example here where I live. So it's like four condominiums put together. So we have a shared space.
Mhm.
One of my neighbor, he plays with his son outside,
Yes.
and at the end of the day, they will leave all of the toys on the garden in the common space. So, when we get visitors, everything is out there for them to see. So, my neighbor on the other side, whenever she gets back from work in the evening, she will go and pick up all of the toys from the ground and come and place it in front of this neighbor's door. And she did that for over a week. And
Wow.
finally, the neighbor got the message that after you finish playing, you should pack up your toys
Oh
and
my
put
gosh.
them in your units. So now he does that, right? So
Yes.
he got the message, and it was nonverbal. This lady would just come back and pack up the stuff and put it in front of the doors. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's a good one.
that's a way of communicating, and it worked,
Mhm.
right? So instead of having a conflict with that neighbor
Yes.
and say,
Yes.
oh, I don't like what you're doing, this is
Yes.
our common space, you need to keep it clean, she just took upon herself.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so it works. It works. Sometimes even like when you're driving, right? You come to a stop sign, a four-way stop sign.
Mhm.
And sometimes two or three people come at the same time, but somebody will just give you the hand, like you can go on, right?
Yes.
That's nonverbal.
Yes.
So there are circumstances where it makes sense and others where it doesn't make too much sense, right?
Um,
Um,
mhm.
Anybody else would like to share on
That
this?
makes sense. When it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate.
Yes, yes,
It's to me, I would say it's not appropriate at in the work environment.
yes.
They say no, no. It's not. Because, and I will say this way, when you are among friends, it's easy for you to reach out to me and say, Sister Yabo, I see your face during the meeting, and we've done it here. Like, during our meeting, Nika, my sister is one that does that. She's a psychologist, so she sees all of this. So she'll be like, everything okay? You know what I mean? So it's easier when you're among friends and family for them to reach out to you to find out. But in a work environment, my daughter will say, nobody's your friend. Oh. You're there to work and you have to be professional with how you do it. I told somebody, when you see me at work and you see me outside, you see two different people, because you just have to project like professionalism, so we cannot carry that look at work, because we dampen, and most of the time we dampen everybody's there. They worry, but they will not ask. They may not ask you unless you are so deep in a relationship with everybody. I mean, and I've seen times that I come in, somebody will say, "Yeah, but everything okay." I didn't even know maybe I'm looking tired or quiet. Most of the time, it's when I'm quiet, because they know me, I talk. So maybe when I'm quiet and I might be busy, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to give them that opportunity to be guessing
Yes.
going on with you, right? So I
Exactly.
know for sure, not in the work environment. You have
Mm-hmm.
to you have to speak, with respect, assertive as well, but with respect. But you have to speak it. You have to let people understand what is going on with you.
Exactly, I so agree with you. Just to give an example, so I started a new role 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
and my working hours is 8:30 to 4:30, so 7 hours. And so this one colleague, she sent me a meeting request for 5 p.m. And I say, oh no, I just emailed her. I say, I'm so sorry, but I have plans after 4:30. I'm not able to be in this meeting. Can we have it tomorrow in the morning, whenever? My calendar is accessible. You can just book me another meeting. And she had to align with
Yeah.
me
Yes.
because I was in my right to say no. At 4:30, I'm out, and I don't
Yes.
have to give you explanation. Even
No.
if I'm out to just go home and sleep, that's my time to sleep. Like, I don't have to compromise with that. So in a work setting, like I said to myself, this is a new job. I have to set the tone from the get
Yes.
go, because when you allow these things, then in a month, in a 2 month, they'll book things at 6 p.m., at 7 p.m.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
you have to set the tone. And it comes from assertive communication.
It
Like,
is. We're going.
yeah,
Mm. Go
that
ahead.
I have to let you know that this is not authorized, this is not okay to do. So you understand you're not going to do that the next day. So from now on, she only books meeting during my work hours, right? So, yes.
Yeah, that's why we have to speak it out. And
Yeah.
then, like, people don't know, like you said, it's a new job. Even with the job that you've been before, some
Mm.
people just do the thing without looking at your calendar, right?
Yes.
Like, was it last week? I got something like 4:45. I mean, politely, I'll be like, okay, first thing in the morning, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
But if you don't say it, right? If you don't say it, then it's not, people are not gonna know
Yes. Yes.
how to deal with you, and that's why we have to speak up when we are in the work environment, politely, nicely, but assertively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very, very important. Okay, we
Okay,
can go to
next
the
one.
next slide, please.
Okay.
Yes, so the communication process, right?
Mm,
So there are 5 elements that we need to have. First, there's a sender. There's somebody that wants to communicate a message. And that message, it has to go through a medium, right? And the medium can be just, the phone. can be via the internet, via an email, can be face to face. That's a medium as well. And there should be a receiver. So
Yes.
you're not talking, in the desert to yourself, but you're talking to somebody that needs to hear what you have to say, right? And the last but not least piece of communication process is a feedback. So you want to hear from the receiver. I've heard you, I've understood the message, I know what are the next steps. Because when you communicate in something, then that person has to take it and do something with it.
Mm,
But if there's nothing you have to do with that information, that again, it's noise, right? And this is why here, when we have meetings at
yes.
PHH, we always ask, is there any feedback, any comments, any questions, anything we need to add, anything we need to remove? Because that feedback communicates a message to us for us to be
Mhm.
better, to improve, to
Yes.
grow. And so when
Yes.
there's no feedback, we're kind of stuck. We're like in
Yes.
a status quo, and that's not the way to be, right? So all these five pieces are important. When one is missing, then there's no communication. So, question for us: why is it often difficult to get feedback, to get a response from the receiver that shows understanding or misunderstanding when we are communicating? And what can we do to get more feedback instead of silence when we are communicating with each other?
Mm.
I know it's a loaded one, but let's go. Let's take a stab at it. The floor is open.
I
I
think
would say,
there are a number of factors.
Okay.
Feedback is important, but if the person is not sure about how to put it across, it may not be a positive one,
mm,
but it needs to be a constructive one.
Mhm.
So, and therefore, they don't want to offend the person. So they're not sure how to put it across, and don't want it to come across as an offense. But it's something that they realize that, it needs to be done. However, when you look at it, if it's not communicated, then no improvement can be made. That
Yes.
person cannot actually realize that, oh, what they're doing is actually wrong. I mean, so that's the way I look at it.
So it's like a catch
So
22.
at times there's no response. The person you just not respond. They will read the message and there will be no response.
But going back to what Sister Yabo said earlier, right? If you don't communicate your opinion, your feelings, how are we supposed to know? Because even like what you mentioned, like the person feels like they're going to offend. But even that, if it's not communicated, how do we
exactly.
know that you
Mm.
feel like you're going to offend? No, it's a deep one
It
Yeah,
because
is.
it is. Yeah, 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 yeah.
there's
Um,
no way for us
Because
to know.
in family settings, you see, I've had a case where, I had to, give feedback, and it didn't go down well. You know,
and
but I have to speak the truth because I can't sugarcoat things, you know.
But then, like if you don't give that feedback, then the primary objective of the conversation of the meeting
yes,
is not reached. So we wasted
yeah.
1 hour, 2 hours, and the truth, the real thing, they never came out. So we
Mhm.
wasted our time, right?
Mhm.
Um, can I come in?
Yes, please.
I always apologize because a lot of people, we take the way we take things perceive is differently, is wrongly. But I've worked in the corporate um sector for like ever.
Mm.
So somebody, I need to retire because I worked since I was 16, and I work in the office environment
Yes.
since I was 16. And one thing I realized is, and I worked in London, I mean, the UK, worked in America, worked in Nigeria,
Mm.
and being around us, something like that. I think sometimes it's cultural,
Yes.
sometimes it's the environment that we're in or we find ourselves in that we cannot shake ourselves out of.
Mm.
Because believe me, you cannot be in the corporate world, America, and you're saying that you have something to say and you're not able to say because you're not
Yes.
going to, then nothing will get done.
Yes.
And that's what we try to bring to PHH. Like when we were saying it, even though sometimes it comes out hard, but it's
Yes.
the truth. Nothing will get done because there's not going to be any clarity.
Mm.
Nothing is going to be communicated.
Yes.
So you have a feeling that you're not able to share. The other person does not know how you feel or how things can be done better
Yes.
until it is spoken. And it doesn't have to be spoken, it can be written. I do a
Yes.
lot of writing. I'm a writer.
Yes.
Excuse me. I do a lot of writing because sometimes when I speak, if people pick it up wrongly,
Mm.
that's where you will hear, oh, it has to be said this way. You're not saying, or you're not giving feedback in love, and it's common amongst different cultures, certain cultures, like, but in the corporate world, my boss cannot tell me what should be happening, what it is I'm doing wrong that I need to do right. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, oh, you hurt my feelings.
Mm.
Yes. You know what I mean? And why can we not bring that into everything else that we do?
And yes.
So that when people are speaking to us, you're not looking at the negativity, you're
Mm.
looking at the positivity. What am I supposed to learn from what this person is saying to me, as
Yes.
opposed to the way you've said it? We'll say, oh, and I understand that, the way we project sometimes can be harsh, can be hard.
Mm.
But if you see beyond that, are you listening to what this person is saying?
Mm. Mm.
Right, Salary, if they were listening to what you were saying, if it was a correction,
Yes.
are they listening to that correction? Or
Yes.
are they listening to who the corrector is
Mm.
or how it came? My boss cannot correct me and I turn around and say, by the way, and there's a way we're taught. And I'm sorry,
Mm.
I love this. I did personnel management. I'm a major of human resource management, right? So those are the things that we're taught. Those are the things that we pick up. Now, what they will say to you is, I will not tell you, Sister Lanre, you did this, you make me do this, you did that. You do what I mean? I'm
Yes.
going to give you a feedback. I feel like,
Mm.
or
Yes.
this is how this makes me feel. So I
Yes.
make it about me, not about them. So if I make it about me, like not what you did now, but what
Mm.
you did, how it makes me feel. I'm still telling you what you did, but indirectly, so that you're not feeling bad,
Yes.
and then you don't become defensive.
Mm.
You see what I mean? So, but we still have to project how we're feeling, what we're thinking. And because that's the only way things can change. A lot of things are not changing around us because
Yes.
we're not being honest with our feelings. We're not being honest
Yes.
what is going on. And we
Yes.
keep it, and then we wonder why things are not changing. It would never, it's not a cause. It can never change
Yes. Yes.
until one of us become bold. Even though people don't like it, they will still want to shut you up. But you can't allow that.
Yes.
You have to stay bold to speak how you feel, and then maybe apologize, because of the tone
Mm.
that it was said, because of how it was said. Because we too, when I receive from some people, I'm like, excuse from where to where, you know what I mean? But I still don't, yeah, we just have to get to a place where we don't make anything about ourselves, and we
Yes.
don't make everything emotional,
Mm.
like reading meanings into what
Yes.
people say. And I think that's another thing. We read meanings. So we're not listening to understand
Mm.
were listening to reply. Remember what we did with we did I can't remember what class we took and what project we did within ourselves. Um I've forgotten what it was like. Is it seven? I've forgotten. Like, so you listen to understand, not listen to reply.
Yes. I think it's how to be an effective leader. But I remember we did something on this.
We did.
Yeah. No, you are so right. When you don't bring things to the light, when you keep it inside, then it cannot be dealt with, it cannot be corrected, it cannot be changed
Mm-mm.
because you are the only one that is aware of it, right? And
Yes.
this is why in this group in PHH and in every other group that we are in, we want to build trust.
Yes.
Because when you trust the people in the group, it's easier to open up.
Yes.
Because for me, for example, I know that there's nothing I can say to Sister Yabo that will make her never to talk to me anymore. Like, there's no
Never.
way.
Never.
What
Impossibility.
is the craziest thing that I said to her? She can go like, what's going on with my sister? But that
Yeah.
relationship will not be severed because I say
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Right? So that's what we want to build here to have that trust amongst us that whatever we have inside of us, we can bring it out
Yes.
without fear that, oh, they're not going to like me anymore. They're not going to do this. No, like we need trust. And even in the workplace, you need to trust your colleagues, your boss to bring
Yeah.
things up
Mhm.
to them, right? And I agree that there's
Mm.
part of our culture, of our
Yeah.
education in Africa where,
Mhm.
they'll say, oh, this person is older than you. You can say that to them. But it's the truth, but you can say it because they are
Say it.
older. And so we keep things inside and then we come to this, developed countries and we keep the same mentality. But here, even you'll see the little kids, they are assertive. They tell their
Yeah.
parents when they're wrong and they have
Yes.
no fear. Then you can be shocked because you came from the culture where you had to keep quiet, but you
Yeah.
had to adjust. Like here,
Mm.
the kids, they are given power to speak up.
Mm.
Like even in schools, when a kid is not speaking, they call the parents. Like your
Yes.
child doesn't talk. What's going on in the home?
Mhm.
Because it is a value that they instill in the people that you need to talk. Because when you don't talk, nothing is resolved. Yeah. I see there are
Mm.
comments in the chat.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, from Pastor King, the I statement really powerful. Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Yes, I. It's about the I. Not what the
Yeah.
other person is saying or doing, but you, right?
Yes. Yes.
And Sister Ronke, another time a nonverbal communication can be appropriate is when you are on the phone and someone needs to speak with you. You are able to use your eyes to communicate to the person, and he or she can see that you are on the phone without even communicating verbally. Yes, I agree, sis.
That's practical. Very practical. I look at you
Yes.
like, can you not see me on the phone? I'm That's so practical. That's so funny. Okay, we move to the next slide.
Yes, please. So,
Okay.
barriers to effective communication.
Mm.
And we've touched a lot on this, right? First
Yes.
is assumptions. So, do we assume that people will understand our message from the get go,
Mm.
right? So, for example, at work, I see that a lot when, we're starting a new project and then the project lead will schedule like a 30 minutes to give us an overview. And then within the 20-25 minutes, he realizes that no, I should have booked more time because we're not experts in the subject. So we need more time to understand what's going on, right? So that person made an assumption that we are going to pick it up this quickly. So that's a barrier that we need to be aware of. And lack of clarity. We talked a lot
Mm,
about this. Is my message communicated too vaguely, right? Am I precise on what I'm trying to convey? We talked here about having smart goals, right? You don't
yes,
want to set up a goal that is vague because you never reach it. If
yes,
you don't have key element to measure the progress that you are making on that goal, then nothing will happen, right? And poor listening, do we make up our mind about the message, what the message is going to be, even before we had the meeting, even before the conversation? Now, for example, Sister Lamre sent me a message, oh, sis, I want to talk to you for 5 minutes. So in my mind, I, I create this scenario. She's going to tell me about
mm,
ABC.
mm,
But you can't
mm,
do that if you want to have an effective communication. You should go in that call with an open mind so you can really receive from the person. And emotional interference, right? Do our emotions get in the way of communicating our thoughts? If you refer back to the example I gave with my mother, right? So
yes.
her emotion were full in effect in that conversation. So that's a barrier. And also, Sister Yabo mentioned that the culture is our communication style a reflection of our cultural background. I think yes, for a lot of us, yes. But we have room to work on that and improve.
Can I say
Yes.
something like the barriers? And something happened this last week, and it will be the second time. So say you receive a project or a task that needs to be done from somebody, and it's like, yeah, but can you do this? Just like you're saying, and I'm like, do what?
Do what?
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Do what? There's no instruction. There's
Yeah.
no a background
Definition.
to
Yeah.
it. There's no information.
Mm.
There's no documents. And in my head, honestly, I sat down there. I will sit down there for a few minutes. Do what?
Mm.
Right? What am I supposed to do? There's no
Yes.
communication.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I read a book long time ago, and I'm thinking actually of reading that book. I think I gave it to somebody. Going over that book again, managing up. That's
Mm.
the name. I forgot it, but it's the name. So that how you can manage up to your like to people above, right?
Yes.
So you can communicate up as well. So if I get something like I am somebody is making an assumption that I will understand the message you have sent to me.
Yeah.
No, there's no clarity
Mm.
communicated in that. I don't know what to do. This is a good example of what just happened to me this week. I don't know
Yes.
what to do, right?
Wow.
And this is the thing. I don't think there was any poor listening there because I'm like, I mean, like I wasn't expecting it. It came, and I had to write an email. Okay, I get this. I've never done this before. What am
Yes.
I supposed to be doing? I mean, do I need this information? Do we need to do this? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I'm like, we cannot manage like, we cannot communicate like that. And it
Exactly.
took somebody else to now say, give me like history, and then to say, oh, we've done it this way before. You see what I mean? And now
Mm.
I can now go back to what we've done before and
Yeah.
have a look at it, and it will be able to help me, you know. And that's a lot. And this is like in a workplace where it shouldn't be,
Yes.
but we are not all on that communicative conversational level, or
Mm.
and some things are based on relationship as well. So if this person does not like you, or this person has something, the way we communicate with that person It's going to be harsh, it's going to be rash,
Yes.
and there will be no clarity. There will be a lot of assumption. Oh, she should know. To know what?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So somebody
Yes.
will say, oh, I expect that you should know. To know what? I keep saying that word. I say it a lot. I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
And the moment I start reading your mind, I'm giving myself headaches, I'm giving myself stress, and I do not
Mm.
like stress. So I
Yes.
make sure that's why sometimes you just have to let people do whatever, because if you cannot communicate with me directly, and sometimes it becomes disrespectful.
Yeah.
Honestly, we don't look at when we don't communicate correctly to people,
Mm.
you know. And like we said, the big one is our cultural upbringing.
Yes.
Like, we bottle things up.
Yeah.
And it's still happening in a culture here. I understand that when, like I told somebody, I've been away from Nigeria for 40 years.
Mm.
Half of it in UK, half of it here. You can't expect me to be acting and behaving like I would stay back home. There's a
Yeah.
difference,
Yes.
right? You've met with different cultures, you've met with different levels of people. We have to, and the Bible even tells us we need to renew our minds.
Yes. Yes.
We need to renew our mind.
Mm.
I can't have a 2-year-old be a 10-year-old behaving like a 2-year-old.
No.
There has to be some level of development from one
Yes.
level to the other. When I was 20, no, I'm 30 is different. I'm 40 is different. I'm 50. The best place is 60. Because
Mm.
now I can do my pastor told us, you can do whatever you like. They will put it down to old age. They will put it down.
No, that's a really good point that you
They
brought
will
up. Yes. Especially in the
20.
workplace. I get
Mm-hmm.
that a lot too, where they'll just forward an email to you, and I'm like, what am I doing with this information? Or they just add you to a meeting, and you're like, what is the agenda of this meeting? Why are we
Mm-hmm.
gathering?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we taking out of this? No communication.
No
And like you said,
communication.
they expect you to just know why you are there. And that's where we always go back, right? I'll call the person that set up the call and said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
was there a mistake? You've just added me to this meeting and I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing. And they'll say, oh, I'm really sorry. So we started this new project, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So now you're giving more background, but not telling me anything, but just
Mm.
expecting me to be in all those meetings. No, right? Again, we have to kind of detect all of these things and kind of push people to be a better communicators toward us as we are pushing ourselves to be better communicator to them, right? So
Yes. I have something there. I'd like to read this one out because this is part
yes.
of the cultural part that we were talking about. And it's really, really affecting many of us at work. Because in this country, and I know in the UK, especially in America, you're talking to your boss or you're talking to people in the office and you're not looking at them directly in the eye. To them,
Mm,
you're keeping something. You're
yes,
not transparent. You're
you're
not confident. The word more is you're not confident. How can I be giving a talk at work and then I'm looking on the ceiling, I'm looking down, you're not
mm,
looking directly.
to the
If
person.
you go to an interview and you're not looking directly at that person in the eye, eyeball to eyeball, they see you as not having confidence.
Yes.
It is the way it is. So I want to read something that Sister
Mm,
Odu, my sister-in-law, wrote there. She said, told not to look an adult straight in the eye when talking as I grew up. I had to unlearn. See, listen,
yes.
because she came from Nigeria to the UK. I had to unlearn that, realizing that the culture I'm in now, you
Mm,
need to hold people's gaze. Eye contact is a key part of communication.
wow.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for that.
Yes. It's a big one. It's a big one.
Mm-mm-mm. We will learn and unlearn in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. We have to.
That's why we're here. That's why we're
Yes.
here. Okay, so let's go. Our time is fast spent. Let's go to the next discussion question. Now, which communication barriers do you need to remove as a person?
Mm.
And we have to be truthful with ourselves. Unto
Yes.
thyself be truth. Because you see, I can lie to myself and say I'm okay, but you are not okay. I know I'm not okay in certain areas. And why
Yes.
do you think that those barriers are still present in your communication style? Oh, God, Natalie. So, which barrier you're gonna go first, or
Yes.
salary? Which barrier do we need to remove? And we don't need to spend too much time. Just let's pick it. And why do you think it's still there?
I think for me, it's the cultural background. I think that background still affects me a lot
Yeah.
the way I communicate, especially on the in the workplace, right? I'm not able to like negotiate my salary.
Mm,
I usually just take whatever is offered because in my mind I have this saying that says at least you have a job. Be grateful that they're offering you this. So don't go asking for more. And that's something I need to work on because it's still pursuing me. Even this new job, I didn't negotiate. I asked for it, but I didn't fight to get the number that I was asking. I asked once, and they say, they give you all the reasons why this is the best salary, and then I just say yes, right? So I think it's linked to my culture. And what do I think that this barrier is still present? It's because I haven't dealt with it. I haven't unlearned. Like my sister said, like I need to put up a plan to say I'm going to overcome this barrier, right? To be able to do so. I haven't dealt with it. So that's for me. Anybody else? Share with
mm,
us.
Yeah, I shared earlier on with you, and there was a reason why I did that
Mm,
when you were talking about nonverbal communication.
yes.
mm,
And I said, if I'm annoyed, I don't want to speak because
Mm-hmm.
what I would say would not be correct. But I've moved beyond that.
Mm,
mm,
Yeah, I've moved to a point where I would actually say to you, I would actually come out and say to you, either I'm going away to process the information,
mm,
I'll come back and give you a feedback. And then I'll definitely come back with a feedback with more questions. And the reason for more question is uh just to find out more information before
mm,
I actually give my response, just to make sure that what I'm thinking in my head is actually what it is, and that has helped a lot in opening up, more info to getting more information,
mm,
about that particular issue or that particular circumstance. And in that space, I am happy, with what I've said, even if it's not what you want to hear.
mm,
But I know that that is, that's the correct approach. So, and it has, over time, even within the family, the individual has become a better person, and
mm,
the individual has learned how to actually communicate better.
mm,
But it was not it was initially, taken in a wrong way. But I've learned that as long as what I'm saying is genuine, what I'm saying is out of a motive that is correct, and it is out of a constructive motive, I would say it. I
awesome.
would say it, and I will let you know that the motive behind it is for good. It's the objective is not, to cause the person harm. So I've learned how to do that as well.
Awesome.
Hmm. Wow.
Thank you, sis.
Oh, for me, I think the emotional interference. See, I went back so I can see that mine is more emotional interference because when I'm passionate about something, I get really emotional about it. And remember, because within ourselves, within the group at PHH, we decided we want to take one goal, one secular, one spiritual goal that we want to achieve. Remember, one of mine is emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That's part of it. So emotional intelligence, like, because you would deal with different people, and I found out that some people will actually go out of their way to annoy you with the things they say, how they say it, and
Yes.
you have to be emotionally intact
Yes.
about it. And I'm honestly, I can say, even my sister will be like, oh, you're changing, or you've changed, you know, and you change based one because of a group like this. Because what we're doing here is only a fraction of what we do by ourselves,
Yes.
learning, right? If people were to know what we learn when like offline, it to be like, okay, now I see what these people are doing,
Yes.
right? So that's part of me, like emotional intelligence. And I need that, like based on what I wrote as my reason there, it because you cannot be a spiritual leader, you cannot be a secular leader, you know, and not have grip on your emotions.
Yes.
So you become like a yo-yo to everybody. And then when people understand your your emotions and how you are, the Bible said the word, I mean, wickedness of the heart of man. The heart of man is wicked. That people will poke you just because they can get a reaction from you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you have to have an emotional stand to be able to deal with them. And we can't have a group like PHH, and I'm not emotionally stable. Man, no, we will be scattered. That is the truth. We will be scattered. And you all know what has happened. Things have happened that is only God has held us together.
Yes.
So that is my reason. And then for my children too, I have to be, a shoulder that that they have to see me as an example.
Exactly. Exactly.
Charity begins at home. So it starts with me. And that's
Yes.
why I put it there. I'm taking a class in emotional intelligence you know, so that some reactions these days, and you will look at this, something happened recently, honestly, and I hope she doesn't, and I'm not naming names, but something happened recently. There was a conversation between me and somebody, and honestly, I didn't do it. I know I didn't do anything wrong. They wanted an information that I couldn't give, and and that brought a silence. I don't know if I told somebody about it. That brought a silence from them for like 2 months. But you
Oh.
know what I mean? Like, I allowed it. But after a while, I look at myself like, this is a beautiful friendship. That if they don't see it as a beautiful friendship, that they don't care because of an intangible reason,
Yeah.
and they want to mess it up, no, I chose not to mess it up. And with humility, I have to kind of, you know, and
Yes.
that's part of the emotional. I'm telling you the fact. That is the magic. It's magic. And that gave me the strength to be able to reach out. And
Yes.
I wrote something about it on my WhatsApp, like, if we take it upon ourselves to do some things that are maybe hard, some relationships will not stay broken.
Yes.
They will not stay broken. And part of it is communication.
Hmm.
So maybe what I said or what I did, they took it, but they didn't let me know how it felt or how they
Yeah.
felt, right? So that's part of it. So but we
Wow. God will help us. Yeah. No, sis, you're right. even in communication, you have to learn to pick your fight, right? At
Yes.
some point, you say not all battles are important. So you
Mm,
can choose to close your eyes on certain things and to fight for others, right? But that
mm,
comes with emotional intelligence to read the room and to say, okay, this that I wanted to bring up, maybe it's no longer needed, right? And to humble yourselves as well and to say, I can let this one go, or I can just not mention it for
yes.
the good of the relationship, right? Yeah.
Mm,
Okay, we can go to slide 16, please, sis.
okay.
Yeah. This one I'm skipping it. We can go to 16.
Oh, we've done. Okay.
Yeah, because of time. But
Okay.
if I'm able to cover that piece, then we can come back.
Come back. Okay. So, how can communication that incorporates the four building blocks can help build trust in a group? Where are the blocks?
Oh, the blogs come right before this.
Yeah, that's what we need to see.
Okay, that's the.
So let's, we need it. We need
Okay,
it.
we can
So,
cover it. Yeah.
let's just go quickly. So these are the building blocks, right?
Yes. The active
Active listening.
listening,
Yeah.
the clarity and conciseness, right? We talked
Mm,
about that a lot, that you have to be clear. And
okay.
that's where we need the feedback for the person to say, yes, I hear you and I understand. And that's where when you don't get the feedback, you're not sure if the person heard you correctly, if they agree, if they disagree, right? And this is why feedback is one of the blocks, the building blocks, and empathy, understanding the other person perspective when you are communicating. So be open to say, oh, it's not only my way of viewing things, maybe the person has another way, right? So be open to that. So those are the four building blocks.
Okay. Now let's go.
You can go to the
So
next.
now let's look at the question. How can communication that incorporates the four building blocks can help build trust in a group?
Hmm.
If trust is broken in a group, what communication strategies can we use to build trust?
Yes.
Before I even ask anybody what you think about it, there's a course I took
Hmm.
together with the one that we did. I've just forgotten that name of that course that we did. We did it for, I can't remember. So there was a course I took, like building trust in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And it was linked to communications. It was linked to so many things, how we do things. Do you
The,
remember the guys? You
the, the,
remember?
the 7 habits of highly effective people.
I think, is it the 7 habits? There was no, they were like rules. It was
Um,
six. No, it's not the 7 habits, or maybe it's the 7 habits. I can't remember. I think there was another one we did that
okay.
linked the trust. Remember, because I said we are going to do the trust after, and we
Yes.
are still never gotten into it. So let's look at it like outdoors, active listening, clarity and consciousness,
Mm.
empathy, and feedback help
Build
build
trust.
trust in a group.
Mm.
I
Yes.
think that's another topic by itself.
Yes, I think so too.
Honestly, we need to break this thing down small, Sister Natalie. I'm serious. This one is trust is another,
It's a big.
um, it's a big one.
Mm.
And I want to look at it like, let me go back here. When we listen actively, which I know some of us don't, like me, I'm hyper. You see how sometimes I'm jumping, I have to like hold myself, keep it quiet. Sister Natalie is talking. Some of us are like that. Personality sometimes affects things
Mm.
that we do. I recognize that and I'm working on it. So if we have active listening,
Mm.
having clarifying questions, then
Yes.
there'll be no assumptions.
Exactly.
I cannot assume this is what Sister Yabo is thinking. This is what Sister Natalie is thinking. Oh, she's against me. She's always, you know what I mean, on my
Yeah.
case,
If
right?
she's the only one.
Exactly. So if there's clarity as well, like the way we structure and consciously, the way we structure our, verbiage in a
Hmm.
way that the other person can understand what you're saying, right? It's clear to them. There's transparency in your thoughts,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
if we show empathy, understanding, like I said, understanding from the other person's about, oh, okay, I do want to say something good. And
Okay.
then, like you said, if you are able to give back feedback,
Yes.
when somebody, if you make me feel one way, I mean, I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but this is how I felt when
Hmm.
you did that, when
Yeah.
you said that, which we never do,
Hmm.
right? So the next time, it's like teaching people how to be, teaching them how to treat you.
Yes.
That's what
Exactly.
it is. You
Yeah.
treat me how to treat you. Let me quickly say something, and I'll call you Stojun in a minute. Um, some things happen, issues like happen with friendship and everything. And from what happened, I learned how to deal with this, with this group.
Yes.
I learned how, in a way, the way they reacted or the way they treated me gave me a view of who I am to you. And from
Hmm.
that moment, I took a clue how
Hmm.
I'm going to respond, how I'm going to behave to them,
Yes.
because trust was infected, communication was
Hmm.
affected. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
that's what it. And me, I gave my feedback. I mean, your feedback is not always accepted, right? But you still
Yes.
give your feedback, and that's what I'm seeking. Over to you, Odun, sister Odun. I think you have your hands
Yes,
up, right?
yes, please. Yes,
Okay,
thank you
go
very
ahead.
much,
Thank
please.
you.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is the empathy bit,
Hmm.
the way it can help in a group. We need to realize that people are different stages emotionally. Some
Hmm.
people are very, very emotionally matured, and some people still have very fragile emotion. Every little thing, rubs them off the wrong way. We still need to consider them at that level where they are at. So if they have any complaint, we should not just wave it aside. Oh, chief complainer, she's come again. No, we should hear them out. Hear what they are saying, and empathize with them, but
Hmm.
at the same time we help them to grow and leave that stage of emotional fragility, to tell them that they can come up higher. But we should not at any point in time try to undermine how they are feeling, because if somebody says they are hurt, it means they are hurt. what
Yes.
is what they are heard about may not be anything to you. It could just
Mm,
be something you
mm,
can wave aside. Oh, it's one of those things. But for
mm.
them, it is an issue, and that is the reason why they are raising it. I believe we should listen to them
Hmm.
and uh, and help them. Yeah, that helps in a group a lot. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you. Thank you. Thank you. That's coming from maturity as well. Thank you so much. That honestly, that is very, very true. And some of those things, like some of us are learning, because some of us are like boom, boom, boom. Like, we have something and we want to get it done. We want to have it happen. No, some of us are, personalities are different. Can you
Yes.
imagine seven of us at PHH? Myself and Sarah, we laugh a lot about something like when we're talking about bringing people in.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, it's not because we don't want to grow. And
Yes.
I'll tell her, I'm like, I'm dealing with seven, including me, seven personalities. It's
Hmm.
stressful. Sometimes I want to pull my head out, bringing more people in. Then there's another additional personality that you want me to deal with. But that's the truth, because we have to learn ourselves.
Yes.
And then we have to make sure others feel safe and secure, like you are able to share or
Hmm.
speak up without feeling like, oh, it's me all the time. No, even
Yes.
if it is, That is why there's a group. That's why we're supposed to be our brothers and sisters keepers, right?
Yes.
And it takes time. Believe me, it takes
Mm,
nurturing, it takes coaching, it takes patience, it takes long suffering, it takes all of that thing that Audrey is talking about, like to have that empathy. And
mm,
if you look at the first year when we were together, Lord have mercy, and we actually lost some people, and we actually let some people off. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, and I'm looking at fifth year now. Like, if we're as matured, or I am as matured as I was the first year, things may be different, right?
mm.
But it's a building block. Like, I
Yes.
know we built 1, 2, 3, 4. We are on the fifth floor. I'm talking about PHH right now. We are on the fifth floor, and the Lord has helped us and is helping us. Yes, we should pay attention, and I think we should also pay attention to those, yeah, that needs that extra help,
Yes.
right? To be able to come higher, because like the way I believe the way maybe we react, or touch them, might be the way that we help the next time to be stronger,
Yes.
right? See how we're talking about communication, and it's getting deep into our groups,
Yes.
our lives. Everything is interwoven.
It's linked. Exactly. Exactly. And I want to say thank you to Sister Laurie because she brings back the SRE, the call to the altar piece. Like, do I need to sing? Because she wants to understand. And that's the feedback portion, right? Because she
Yes,
wants to be sure what is
yes,
this about so that I can do
yes,
it the right way.
yes,
And because she keeps bringing that back, it
yes,
forces all of us
yes,
to go back and say, let me look at the vision again. Let me look at the mission again. So it's not just
yes.
her questioning herself, but all
Mm,
of us, we are questioning the reason why we're here. So
mm,
without feedback, we wouldn't get that. If
no,
she didn't trust us enough to ask the question over and over, then she wouldn't get her answer and we wouldn't know that she has
yes,
question about that, right? So
that's
I
very
want to
true.
say thank you to you. And if you have to bring that question back 20 times, feel free. Like Sister Yabo said, we have to repeat ourselves
Yes,
until we are sure of what
yes,
we're doing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the truth. We keep that's communication, and
Yes.
to just say that a lot of people every one of us is going through one thing or the other, and that affects communication as well. That's why
Mm,
you will see somebody that is happy, and you say, what is making them happy? Because there's
mm,
something, honestly, and then we project that in our non-verbal state to
yeah.
them without even knowing that we're doing it. Right? Yeah. So please keep beginning. I love Salary. You have to get to a point where you're teachable. You see,
Yes.
I hear a lot of people say I'm teachable, but you're not teachable when
Mm,
it takes humility
exactly.
to be teachable. And teachable means I don't know. Please
Exactly.
explain, clarify.
Mm,
Yes, that's what it
mm,
is. I don't know, or I'm not getting it, or I'm not there, or I don't
mm.
understand because if you don't understand, and that's what clarity comes in. If we don't understand what
Yes.
we're doing, and we keep saying, do it, do it, do it, she'll be like, excuse me, I am tired. Why do I have to
Yeah.
sing? Please tell me. And then thank you, Sister Natalie, for always explaining. You see, that's why we all have different blocks that we hold at
Yeah.
PHH here. And that happens in our lives outside, in our
Mm,
relationships, our work, that you have to hold on to what it is, that skill, that talent that God has given you to build, to nurture, to coach, right?
yes.
Even though people may not accept it, people may not appreciate it doesn't matter. We hear a lot of sermons that we say, like, it doesn't matter whether you're doing it and nobody is saying it, but there's one person that you're doing it for that
Mm,
sees it. You're not doing it because of man. We're doing it. What we're doing here today is not because of me. I mean, the number of training I take. Thank God I work with government. The number of trainings that I
mm,
even share. It's Natalie is my is my mentee. Every time I see something, I say, "Okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this?" Because we're in the same line of
yes.
thoughts. and and business. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. This is beautiful. I love that. I think there's some stuff I want to read here. Oh, okay. Closer mouth is a closer. Okay. Ronke said a closed mouth is a closed destiny. And
That's
it's true. It is the truth. It's the
yes.
truth. A close, can you imagine you're needing something, you need clarity and you don't ask?
You don't ask.
Can you imagine, okay, you're supposed to send me something. Okay, I borrowed you money. You're supposed to give it back to me in 1 week,
Hmm.
but you are not able to give it back to me in 1 week.
Hmm.
Courtesy demands that at least you let me know, you communicate to me. Yeah, but I know you need this. I cannot. As opposed to keeping quiet. And then I'm thinking, excuse me, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that brings conflict, it brings mistrust. So the next time you need me to help you, I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing it because I will not get my money back on time. Or you know what I mean? So oh, the Lord will help us. All right.
Amen.
This is I love this part. We
On
have 9 minutes, so
productive.
Natalie, how
Yeah,
much do
I'll
we
go
have?
fast. I'll go fast on this one.
Yeah, please.
So,
Seven minutes.
unproductive communication styles, right? There are three main unproductive way we communicate. First is the
Mm,
passive way. So you avoid stating your opinion, your needs, your feelings openly, often prioritizing others' needs over your own to avoid conflict. So those are the people that will say, I just want to keep the peace. But
mm,
nothing changes when you're just keeping the peace. You avoid eye contact, like my sister mentioned, or you have a close body language, right? And usually this person will say, whatever you think is fine. When you hear somebody say this, that means that there's something else behind. And they're
mm,
not telling you the truth because things are not just fine. You have
mm,
your word to say, you have an opinion, you have something that you can bring out. The other unproductive way is to be aggressive. So you express your opinion, your needs in a forceful way. You want to be hostile, you want to dominate people, you prioritize self interest over the respect for others.
others.
You point fingers, you interrupt, you criticize, you blame others for your faults. And the third one is to be passive aggressive, right?
Mm,
So it's a mix between the two, the first two. Appears passive on the surface but expresses anger, resistance, resentment
wow.
indirectly instead of addressing issues openly. Gives the silent treatment, says yes but does no through actions,
Mm,
and procrastination or intentional mistakes to avoid doing something they dislike. So, what is the healthiest way to communicate? Is to be
passion.
assertive, right?
Yes.
Express your thoughts, your feelings, your needs openly and honestly while respecting the rights and the feelings of other people. Have a clear and direct expression. State opinions without hostility or fear. Have a respectful tone. Have a positive body language, right? Look at people in the eye. Have a good posture. Use the I statements like my sister mentioned earlier. Say, I feel, I need, instead of blaming, and listen actively. So, this is the healthiest way to communicate because it balances self confidence with the respect for others. It reduces conflict, it builds trust, and improves relationships.
Wow.
So we can go, yes. This is an example, right? So the aggressive person will say, you never listen to me. The passive person will say, it's fine, do whatever you want, I don't care. But the assertive person will say, I feel unheard when decisions are made without my input. Can we discuss this together? That's sharing your feelings clearly, but in a respectful manner, and putting the weight on yourself. How do I feel in this situation? I feel unheard. Not that you never listen to me. No, I feel unheard. You see the difference.
Yeah.
So we have 6 minutes. Six. I don't think we can.
Is this the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay. So let's quickly go over this. And please, if you like, please go over like when you're watching the video, please go over the slides because
It's like
it's
again.
really nice put together that you
Mm,
can even research upon by yourself to get more. But it's like a taste, like you have a tiny taste of it, and then you can expand it. That's the way we do it. Like we just giving a taste of what we came across like research, and then you can go and build on it. Now,
mm,
can you share an experience where you used one of these communication style? What was the outcome? Were you able to receive the expected feedback with your chosen communication style? After this seminar today, what will you do differently to communicate more effectively with others? Before we go on this, and I think this is something that we can take home actually to work with ourselves. But
mm,
doing like my training or personal manager, there's something we did a lot of assertive training, because you can't be a personnel, you can't manage people without being assertive. You can't be a leader without being assertive. And that's why sometimes when we say this is how it is, it looks as though, oh, she won't know.
mm.
Because you have to be assertive. There's one thing they said assertion or assertiveness is saying no without feeling guilty.
Yes.
That thing stuck with me. And I did this training like 1986 when I did it in London. It stuck with me to today. And maybe that's what propelled me or helped me.
Mm,
Assertion is saying no without feeling
yes.
guilty. And that doesn't make you selfish or unbothered.
Mm,
It's like having a smart goal. You can't have without a smart goal, you're just playing around. Remember, like you have to be, you have to have a goal. So if my goal, as we come here today now, and I'm saying, Sister Natalie, we need to finish at 11:30, right? And I've been assertive about it. I'm not feeling guilty about it because we promise people it's 9:30 to 11:30, right? You don't
yes.
feel guilty. I'm just using the lowest thing. You don't feel guilty about that.
Yes.
Or it's like you're hurting me and
Mm,
I'm telling you you're hurting me and you want me to feel guilty about me telling you
mm,
you are hurting. No, if we don't take anything away from this communication thing that we've done, and we've got so much to work, is please,
yes.
assertion, let us be assertive
Mm,
without feeling guilty,
yes.
right? So does anybody want to say after this seminar, one word each, please? What will you do differently to communicate more effectively? If you've been passive, or I mean,
Mm.
what will you do differently?
For me, it will be to use more of the I statement. Really
Yes,
put the weight on me. How am I feeling, right? In the conversation with somebody or in a group, it is you first. Communicate your feelings, your points. Now look at the other people. Yeah.
that's the best way. I mean, not you, because sometimes we say you did. You
Yes.
put that person on defensive mode.
Yes.
But when you say I
I.
feel, I think, I'm perceiving,
Mm,
things like that. That person will listen to you
yes.
because you're now talking about you, not about them. Even
Mm,
though it's about them, but you're
yes.
turning it around positively so that they can be active listening. Because the
Yes.
moment I say, Sister Larry, you did this, I was saying hello, you did not answer me. You looked on the other side. Ah, they will be like, what is this? What did I do? Where from where to where? Automatically there's a block there.
Yes.
Over say, salary, and I was saying hello, something like that. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. That is not what I meant. I mean, I need the I say the I at work because I have to say it at work. If not, I will get into trouble if I don't use it at work. But I need to say more outside of work, right?
Yes.
I need to
And
say more outside of work.
as a leader at work, I use more of assertiveness, especially when I'm in charge of the ward and I have to direct people. I have to lead them. I have to tell them what to do. I have to be firm. I have to make my point known. And when I'm dealing with senior holders, I have to actually advocate for patients and what is right and what is best based on the staffing level on the ward at the moment. So I have to do that. So I use more of assertiveness. So what I'm going to take away is being empathy, be
Effective.
empathizing more.
Okay.
Empathizing more, because there are times probably maybe we are going on a night shift and somebody is calling sick at the dying hour and will be left short. If he hurts me, I don't see, I might not see from their own angle. I just see, oh, the word is left short and it shouldn't have been at
Mm,
this time. But when you empathize more, you see from their own aspects why they have to
mm.
do what they did. So that's what I'm going to take away from this thing. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
I like that one. That's a nice one. And I put it somebody else's. Ronke said, saying no without feeling guilty. Very profound. Take away from today. I will be more expressive in conveying my feelings and thoughts using
Yes.
the I perspective.
Yeah, for me, I will be more assertive and less passive. Yeah, move to more towards being assertive.
Assertive.
Awesome.
Anybody else? You can say without showing the face if you want to say something. What will you take away from today based on, at least now we're mostly basing it on the last, which is part of it, the last three uh, the last few slides. With what would everybody take away? If you can say something. Okay, let me see. Odun said assertive, be more assertive. Yeah, we need
Yes.
to be more assertive so that our feelings can be, even, so that we can project more of what we're thinking, what we have inside, and in a constructive manner, in
Yes.
an empathetic manner, in a professional manner,
Yes.
so that others can see us. Let me see, I think one more. Stajoke said, my takeaway is to be more active listening. I found that to be it's like okay, active listening. To me, see the projection that we have of people. To me, she's an active listener. That is the truth. To me, she's an active. See, so maybe she said she wants to be more active listening. That is
Awesome.
beautiful. Wow, awesome. Thank you, everybody. So Natalie, do you want to close?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And like Sister Yabo said, the broadcast is on our YouTube channel. You can go back as many times as you need. Go through the slides, go through the notes and the discussion, and really try to work on yourself where there are lacks, where you can improve. Give yourself that opportunity to be a better communicator. It will affect your relationships. It will affect your career at work. It will affect everything that you do, because as you are becoming that better communicator, then the feedback, the impact that you are making will be higher as well, right? So, just to leave you on this note, that clear communication builds trust, and trust builds impact. And we
Mm,
want to impact our societies. We want to impact our families, our jobs, everything, wherever God places us. We want to be an impact. So we need to be better communicators. Thank you.
And if you are interested, in our next month we're going to be talking about soul winning, which is the main vision of PHH. Every one of God's children are called to win souls. The Bible says, "He who wins souls is wise," and this is God's heartbeat, that none of his children be lost. We want to win souls until every nation is touched, every heart is changed, and there's none left behind. So please look forward to joining us next month, September 27, when we will revisit. We've done it last year, but we feel we should do it every year just to remind ourselves and to remind everybody out there that God has called each and every one of us to be soul winners. So we
Yes.
look forward to seeing you. And if you have anything that you want us to discuss, or you think that we haven't done that you want to, please send to us. We will research and we will bring it to you. You
Yes.
know, we just want to be an impact to everybody. Iron
Amen.
sharpening iron.
Amen.
Amen. Before, I think there's some, let me see quickly. Oh, okay. Dr. Messi says, deal with my emotion first before communicating to others. Use more assertive communication um, as a leader. Thank you, Doctor. And it's also a phrase in order to make sure my message is received. Oh, Sister Joke said active listening in order for message to be received and understood. Okay, okay, and then somebody else. Okay, that's it. Yes, I'm an active listener, but you can never have enough of it. I will be able to do more. Oh, awesome, awesome, beautiful. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. This is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you next month. Please join us. I hope this was interesting for you. I hope it was learning. I hope you learned something to take away. Thank you so much, Stanature, for anchoring this. God bless you always.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. Let me stop the sharing. I don't do the same mistake I did the last time.